Hello, Brad Bob back here. Today I want to talk about 9 ways to maximize your TSP. In other words, to get the most out of your TSP. TSP is a huge part of FERS retirement, and you want to make the most of it during your working years. So let's get right to it. Okay, number 1 I've got here, understand your matching. Okay, this is key. When you start with the government, you should start putting at least 5% in and never any less than 5%. Okay? If you put 5% in, then the government puts in 1%. They always put in 1% automatically. They match dollar for dollar for the next 3%, and then they match 50 cents on the dollar for the next 2%. So to make it real simple, you put in 5%, they put in 5%. All right? Make sure you're putting in at least 5%. Also, where understanding your matching comes into play, you don't want to max your TSP out before the end of the year, because if you do, you'll lose out on some matching dollars, okay? And that comes into play most often with people later on in their career as their salaries have increased, they get another step increase, and they're putting a percentage in versus a flat dollar amount, okay? You could unknowingly max your TSP out before the year is over. So be careful of that. Okay, number 2, it's not a game, okay? It's not a game, it's not a joke, don't play with it, okay? This is real simple, it's not a game of craps, you're not going to the casino. Yes, there is risk, but as long as you understand that risk, okay, and you're comfortable with what you're doing, then you should be good. But don't be moving funds in and out, all right? They have put limitations now as far as how many trades you can make per month. But, and I'm more so talking about things like March 2020, when the stock market went down about it went down about 35% or so, I think your C fund did. I know people that move money out during that time. Market went down 20-30%, they moved money out. Then when did they get back in? Yeah, they're getting back in around 2021 or so. And so in other words, they lost money by making those changes. Again, to keep it really simple, even the so-called experts, okay, some of the smartest people I know in investment management business, they have the hardest time timing the market. So again, set your allocation. It's not a game. Don't play with it. Number 3, increase your annual contributions. So if you start with 5% when you started working there and you've been there for 10 years, I hope you're not still putting in 5%, okay? You need to be increasing those contributions, ideally to where you can max your contributions out, okay? The most you can put in a year is $19,500 for this year, 2021, and then an additional $6,500 if you turn 50 this year, okay? Again, it's not there's no maximum percentage. It's a maximum dollar amount that you can put in. And one easy thing to do is you get COLAs or you get raises, take part of that raise and put that into your TSP. 4, review your pay stub. So let's say you increase it, you should check your pay stub, check your leave and earnings statement. I know a lot of people never look at their leave and earnings statement anymore because you don't get paper. It's a good idea to log in and check that thing once in a while. I worked with somebody here this year, actually in the past month. He thought that he was maxing TSP out. So he thought he was putting in the $19,500 and the catch-up contribution. However, he wasn't putting anything in for the catch-up contribution. So, which is fine. We caught it now before the end of the year and he can still do it. But had he not reviewed that this year, who knows? You know, maybe he would have missed out on that tax deferral. So review your leave and earnings statement at least once a year. Make sure what you want to have happening is happening, okay? Number 5, really simple, save early. The power of compound interest. The sooner you save, the earlier you save, the more time your money has to compound, okay? Yes, as people get older, they make more money and they can save more. However, it's so much more important to save early, okay? The earlier, the better. Number 6, got know your funds here, okay? You've got 5 funds, CSI, G&F funds, all right? And then you've got your life cycle funds, which are a combination of those 5. Know how those funds work. So I've talked to people who have been with the government for 20 years, and they have never changed anything with their TSP. And over the past 20 years, all of their money has been going into the G fund. The G fund is the most conservative of all of your funds. So had they been putting that money into just say a diversified portfolio, 80-20 portfolio or so, who knows how much they would have today? 5 times what they had? 10 times? Regardless, it would be considerably more. So know how your funds work, know the risk involved with them, know the potential returns involved with your funds. 7, avoid loans. Okay, I've got written some articles about loans and TSP loans, a good TSP loan versus a bad TSP loan. And to make it really simple, try your best to avoid TSP loans if you can. People like to say that they're paying themselves back interest, so they're making money. They think it's a good thing. They're paying themselves back interest, or it's only 2% or 1.5%, which is true. The interest rate is low. But if you take $50,000 out of your TSP, that's $50,000 that you're not making any money on. Now, if you're a market genius and you could do that in a market downturn, great. However, the market tends to be up something like 6.5 to 7 years out of 10. So the odds are not with you as far as timing that right. So TSP loans, try and avoid them, okay? They are not your friend as far as saving and accumulating for retirement. Number 8, Roth TSP. And I admit, I absolutely love Roth IRAs, Roth TSP, okay? Understand how Roth TSP works. It's the opposite of your traditional TSP. So money goes in after taxes. You pay your taxes, then money goes into Roth TSP. I've got some videos on that as well. But then when you take the money out, it's completely income tax free. And I can't tell you, there is not a single person that I've talked to in retirement that tells me, Brad, I really wish I wouldn't have put money in a Roth TSP or Roth IRAs. However, I can tell you 7 to 8 out of 10 people that I talk to near retirement age say, yeah, you know, I just never took the time to look into this Roth TSP thing. And you know, hindsight's 20/20. I really wish I would have 20 years ago, 10 years ago, whenever, but I didn't do it. So think about that, okay? Look at that now. And if you're maxing TSP out, you know, say you're putting $26,000 in, you can save more, look at putting it into Roth TSP maybe, okay? $26,000 in a Roth TSP is worth a lot more than $26,000 in a traditional TSP. In traditional, you have a partner, right? Which is the government. You got to pay taxes. So anything you take out is taxable income. Any money you take out of Roth TSP or Roth IRAs, that is income tax free. That is all yours. So $26,000 in Roth versus $26,000 in traditional, you want the $26,000 in Roth every day of the week. Last thing, hire a professional. So this is something that maybe some people need help with. Maybe you know, a lot of you don't need help with. But my point here is, if one of the most important things a professional or an advisor, a good advisor can do, is help manage behavior, okay? So in other words, helping you not make irreversible financial decisions that are going to hurt you in the long run. And where this could come into play is if you find yourself making changes with your TSP, you know, if you're treating it like a game, okay, hey, I'm in a time market, I'm going to move money out now. Oh, now I'm going to move it back in. You know what, I've got a hunch, I've got a feeling. Okay, those are things that maybe an advisor could talk you down off of a ledge, explain to you pros and cons of those decisions. But if you struggle with that, that's something maybe you could use some help with. So those are my 9 tips. Bottom line, save money, okay? Invest your money into TSP. The earlier you save, the better, okay? Take a few minutes, take an hour or two here and there to get a little bit of education of how your matching works, how your funds work, and you will appreciate it once you get to retirement and you have a large lump sum in TSP.